This will ruin Halo forever. This shouldn't be in Halo. This isn't Halo. The amount of people that think this is Halo do not remember Halo very well. So every couple of months, I need to make a video like this because people message me nonstop saying, Remy, the Halo community is fighting again. Please, can you be the voice of reason? Talk about the good, the bad, explain it for everybody, and try to settle this because this topic has gotten millions upon millions of views. It has gotten completely out of hand. So I'm going to talk about it, break it down for everybody. Let's jump into it. So the topic of today's video is jumping, movement, and what movement is acceptable for Halo. I'm not talking about sprint. I'm not talking about armor abilities. I'm talking about jumping, traversing the map in a way the developers didn't intend. Now in older Halo games, this is present everywhere. So many unique, cool jumping mechanics, movement mechanics were discovered throughout these games' history. Fast forward to Halo Infinite, a lot of really cool things have also been discovered, but a lot of them have been patched out, removed, or just straight up taken away. Now this boils down to 343 versus Bungie. They have a pretty similar design philosophy, and I'm going to explain that in just a second, but the really big difference between the two studios is what they do to what the community finds on the games they have created. So this all started when Milkway, someone who probably understands movement better than anyone on Halo, posted a pretty harmless clip of saying Halo Infinite if you could clamber on everything. Because if you aren't aware, there's a lot of places you can't actually stand on Halo Infinite because it's invisiwalled. However, on past Halo games, if there was a ledge, it had a little piece of geometry, and it was solid, you could stand on it. I saw one comment that said, notice how the things this guy thinks is cool is stuff that will hurt the core gameplay loop and make the core fan base mad. And I feel like it's kind of a non-issue. I feel like the amount of people who would actually make these jumps would be less than 5% of the population. 99% of your playtime, you are not going to experience people doing this. So what I will say on that is Halo Combat Evolved all the way to Halo 5 all had these cool movement tech, and they didn't negatively impact the gameplay at all. People weren't complaining about it 24/7. In fact, for most games, all the cool movement tech, all the cool glitches kind of gave those Halo games its personality, its soul. Now when I say this, I want to be very specific. Any big game-breaking glitch should definitely be patched, but a good example of something that evolves Halo gameplay is Halo Combat Evolved's grenade launching. I've posted numerous clips of it throughout the years. Stacking grenades, exploding them all together at the same time, and it'll shoot you off flying into the sky. That has been a staple through every single Halo game, not Halo Infinite. Explosions do not stack. 343 even made it that if you're in the driver's seat of a vehicle, you cannot be moved. So if a player wants to grief their team, drive on top of the flag capture plate, and never move, that team can never win the game. That's a very good example of 343 implementing a change because they want you to play a certain way, and in doing so, it has a very negative effect on the overall gameplay. Another one is grenade jumping. You cannot grenade jump in Halo Infinite. There is even a setting in the custom games menu for grenade knockback, and if you turn it up, you can grenade jump, but 343 doesn't want to implement it. They don't want the community to play the game the way they want to. They want you to play the game the way they want you to, and that's the huge difference between 343 and Bungie. So much so that an ex-Bungie dev, the Certain Affinity CEO, Max Hoberman, weighed in on this debate, so I'm going to read you exactly what he said and then give you my thoughts. So Max Hoberman said there's some discussion on here about our intent with jumps of subtle geometry in early Halo Trilogy multiplayer maps. Let me shed a bit of light on the matter. Trick jumps came in three forms. 1. Jumps we planned for. These sometimes required crouch jumping by design, and it's his favorite. 2. Jumps we didn't plan for, subsequently discovered by QA, quality assessment, but that we decided to leave in. 3. Jumps we weren't aware of, discovered by the community after we shipped. Many of these would have fallen in the second category had we known, high skill level, more layers of depth. Now those two tweets highlight the huge difference between Bungie and 343. They both have the 3 tiers, the jumps they designed, some slightly harder jumps they decided to leave in from QA, and then they also have tier 3, which is the jumps discovered by the community. But what Max Hoberman says, if we did know about them, these high skill level, more layers of depth jumping, we would have left them in. 343 on the other hand, has removed so many things from Halo Infinite, I've almost lost count. Not just jumping, but cool fun bugs in the campaign that don't hurt anyone, completely gone from the game. 343 patched the speedrunning route when the game first came out, but only along the fastest route of the game. The trick still works in other locations, but not along the speedrunning route. And if that isn't evidence that they want you to play the way they want you to play, and not the way the community wants to play, I don't know what is. And I think that's what Milk with his video is touching on. In past Halo games, there was all this geometry you could jump on, all these ways that rewarded players who really learnt the game and practiced these things. And then you have Halo Infinite that did have these things and did reward players who learnt the game and its mechanics, and it's all taken away almost immediately as soon as 343 becomes aware of it. There's such a big difference in gaming between now and say 10 years ago. A lot of things would never have gotten patched back then. It's just a weekly removal now for a lot of games. It isn't just Halo, Apex Legends, Call of Duty, they all have fun stuff that is discovered with their games, and developers just instantly take them away now. Again, anything that is super game breaking, of course, remove it. But minor bugs that no one really doesn't have a huge impact on the outcome of a game, and players get a laugh out of doing it with their friends, leave it in. I realize it enters the debate that any sort of bug or anything like that, from their eyes, means they've failed as game devs, but really that isn't the case. Sometimes the most unintended things bring the best experiences to a game, and I would urge 343 to reconsider sometimes when they're going to remove things from their games. Sometimes I think they're better left in. Nevertheless, I don't want to see you guys fighting on Twitter. Halo has a rich history of movement tech, and I'm sure that will continue in the future. But they're my thoughts. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.